Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad and our live launch coverage of RocketLab Electron's 46th flight, also known as Electron NROL-123 with the mission name Live and Let Fly. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad, and here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together, and we're glad to have you joining us for what is going to be the first of 3 launches happening today on March 21st, at least for us here at the TLP studio. First up, as we are here for, is the Electron launch, which we're at T-minus 23 minutes, 50 seconds, and counting to. We hope you'll join us back here in about 6.5 hours for the launch of Soyuz, launching 2 Russian cosmonauts and an American astronaut to the International Space Station. And then wrapping it up later in the afternoon, we'll be back for the launch of SpaceX CRS-30, the cargo resupply mission to the International Space Station. Interesting to see 2 ISS missions in a single day from total opposite sides of the planet. Exciting thing about today's Soyuz mission is it is a 2-orbit rendezvous and docking. So when we go live to countdown to launch, we will be staying live all the way until those cosmonauts and astronauts are on board the International Space Station. Now, tonight's Electron mission is a classified mission launching from Rocket Lab Launch Complex 2 at Wallops, Virginia, and we're counting down to a targeted liftoff time of 2:40 a.m. Eastern Time. We're hoping that Rocket Lab will be starting here in just a short amount of time, but we're going to take some time and answer your guys' comments and questions. You can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, but as I said, it's a classified mission, so we don't know too much. Kicking us off right off the bat, John Ferris, thank you so much for that very generous super chat and those gifted memberships. Thank you for supporting what we do. Take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from as well. We got Skylar in St. Augustine. Great to have you here. We have Eric, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, from Acronish, Ohio. We got Eric in Minster, Ohio tonight. Great to have you here. Lots of people tuning in. It's a little bit of a later launch, but it's kicking off a triple launch day, and we're excited to have those of you who are here watching live. Now, if you're watching the replay, take a moment, let us know down below. We still want to hear from you. Let us know where you're watching from, and comment replay down below. We are at T-minus 22 minutes and counting, expecting Rocket Lab to begin their live coverage here momentarily, and hopefully bring us some incredible live views from Wallops, Virginia, as we continue to count down to launch of tonight's classified mission. The first Electron launch from Wallops in quite a bit of time, so we're excited to have this kicking back off and hopefully seeing more of these flights in the near future. Rocket Lab, we may hopefully see a little teaser of it today, recently revealed that the Neutron rocket's water tank that they'll be building a water tower for has arrived at Wallops, Virginia. It is ready for installation as they prepare to bring their second rocket, the Neutron rocket, online over the next 18 months to 2 years through their testing, and we'll of course be bringing updates to that as we get them. Thank you so much to Supax, becoming a Martian Explorer. John Ferris, another gifted membership. Thank you so much. We got Reverend Timothy coming in from Montgomery, Alabama. We got Joker in New Delhi. Angela is in New Zealand. We got Chris in Colorado. Dee's in West Yorkshire. We got Thrash Crow in Arizona. Windbreaker's in Arkansas, USA. Amy's in Michigan. Huge shout out to our mod team, to Windbreaker and Amy and Kieran, staying up super late here out on the East Coast and getting up very early in the morning over in the UK to be in the chat here today. So shout out to them. These streams wouldn't be possible without our team. And if you want to become part of the TLP crew, you can apply via our application. We'll drop a link in the chat there. We are looking to bring on some more moderators as well as launch hosts. Rocket Lab's going live, so let's listen in to Rocket Lab Mission Control for an update as we count down T-minus 20 minutes, 25 seconds and counting till launch.
in 0640 UTC. My name is Muriel Baker and I am thrilled to be with you for another Eastern Shore launch from LC2. Today's launch is the NROL-123 mission for the NRO. It's our 5th mission for the National Reconnaissance Office, but the first time we are launching for the agency from the US and from their home state of Virginia. The mission's name is Live and Let Fly. The payloads on board are research missions to enable new technology development amongst the NRO, industry and academia. Now, at their request, we won't be showing a payload camera view and we'll be ending the webcast today shortly after Stage 2 separation. We have 2 different mission patches on the fairing for this Electron. There's our RocketLab mission patch featuring the Pegasus and a second mission patch from the NRO. The 3 animals on the NRO's mission patch represent the 3 research missions launching on Electron today. Now, while these are classified missions, we can tell you that for one of those missions, the NRO has partnered with the Naval Postgraduate School. Now it's over to you to guess which animal represents that mission and what the other animals might stand for. But for now, here's more about the National Reconnaissance Office. It's great to be back on the pad with the NRO for the 5th time. Our 3rd and 4th missions for the NRO were 2 back-to-back flights from our launch pad in New Zealand for the NROL-162 and NROL-199 payloads. Earlier in our launch manifest, we had also flown NRO missions in January and June 2020. Today's mission also marks the last launch the NRO has acquired using its Rapid Acquisition of a Small Rocket, or RASR contract, a streamlined, faster and commercial approach by the NRO for launching small satellites. Our first flights for the NRO were also contracted under RASR, so it's a fantastic full circle moment to be flying RASR 5 and NROL-123 from our Virginian launch pad today. The NRO has also dedicated this launch to Dr. Steve Stearns. Steve worked in the intelligence community for 21 years. He was an architect and an advocate for the NRO mission, building multimedia displays. He used his skills from years of teaching at universities by creating compelling stories with intelligence community products to educate distinguished visitors on the NRO mission. Steve passed away in February 2023. He is remembered by his colleagues as being passionate about geology and the mission of the NRO, and he loved working at the NRO, going to launches and being able to say, "I was there." So today we can say he is here with us from rocks to rockets. With the support of Virginia Spaceport Authority, the Commonwealth of Virginia and NASA Wallops Flight Facility, our home on the Eastern Shore serves multiple purposes: small launch on Electron, suborbital launch with HASTE, and very soon, heavier launch and return missions with our reusable neutron launch vehicle. Now, while we're preparing to go to orbit today on Electron, most recently this pad was used for one of our suborbital missions on our HASTE rocket. It's our suborbital launch vehicle created for hypersonic test launches out of Wallops. Now, hypersonic and suborbital test capabilities are top priorities for the nation, but right now, developing that capability has been constrained by limited capacity. HASTE, though, helps to solve that with a launch vehicle for hypersonic testing that is ready right now. It's a lot like Electron with the same carbon composite structure and 3D printed Rutherford engines, but it has some specific modifications for hypersonic testing, including a modified kick stage, a larger payload capacity of up to 700 kilograms, and customizable fairings to suit larger payloads. Our first HASTE mission took place just a few months ago from the same launch pad as part of the Mark TB program through Liftoff for the Department of Defence. Here's more on how Launch Complex 2 and our launch vehicles are bringing value to the national security industry.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. T-minus 14 minutes, 47 seconds, and counting till launch of an Electron on a classified mission. I know some of you are located out on the East Coast, and some people asking some questions. Will I get to see the launch here tonight? Well, we have an answer for you. There on the left side of your screen, you can see the visibility map for this evening's launch. And we'll run you through the colors that you are seeing there on your screen. The yellow is right at the launch site where you will see 0 to T-minus 30 seconds into flight. The next green color is 30 to 60 seconds. Yellow, which includes Dover, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, Charlottesville, and Richmond, you can see it T plus 60 to 90 seconds into flight. 90 to 120 seconds into flight is purple, and that includes Raleigh and just on the edge of Trenton. 120 to 150 seconds into flight, you've got Pittsburgh, and 150 to 180 seconds into flight, you've got Charleston and that kind of orange color on the screen. So a lot of viewing capability here this evening, obviously based on what your local conditions are like. But if you head out and you take a photo or video of it here tonight, definitely take a moment and send that in the chat in our Discord or over to us on X at @TLPN_official. We want to see what you see for tonight's flight. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad as we continue to count down T-minus 13 minutes, 16 seconds, and counting till launch. Lots of people just tuning in as we continue. John Ferris, thank you so much. 5 gifted memberships. We appreciate that. Lots of people just tuning in from all over the world. Take a moment, let us know where you're watching from. We got Supax in Vancouver. We got Joe Dog in Tennessee. We got Robert in Birmingham, Alabama. And we got Amy in Michigan. Great seeing you all here. Let's listen back into Rocket Lab Mission Control as we continue to count down T-minus 12 minutes, 40 seconds, and counting till launch.
Remain healthy, and the weather is proving nice and calm in these early hours. Next, we'll be moving into the Go, No-Go poll run by our launch director at Wallops, Julia Wembaka. She'll run through status checks with each of the launch operators at the ICF at Wallops and MCC in Auckland to know whether to proceed with the countdown to T0. We're going to bring up those audio channels now and listen in.
To all operators, LD and countdown, we are proceeding now with the final poll for launch, the Go No Go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Recon.
Beacons go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
Mars CE.
RCE is go.
Mars Ops.
Mars Ops is go.
Mars 1.
Mars 1 is go.
NASA GSO.
Let's go.
NASA RSO.
RSO's go.
NASA PM.
SPM is go.
Payload MD.
Payload MD is go.
LSO.
LSO is go.
LD sub.
LD sub is go.
NASA TD. The Go No Go sequence is complete. We are currently at T-minus 11 minutes and 7 seconds and counting. We are go for the terminal count at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-watt hold procedure is in effect.
Good news there. We are moving forward with today's launch attempt set for 0240 local time, 2340 Pacific time, or 0640 UTC. It is now 10 minutes, 36 seconds and counting to launch, so time to take you through the Electron rocket for today's NRO mission. Electron is a 3-stage liquid-fueled launch vehicle. Its external and internal structures, like its propellant tanks, are made from carbon composite, which is what gives Electron its unique black look. Now, where it is white is where liquid oxygen is being loaded into the tanks. The freezing temperature of the LOX causes moisture on the outside of the rocket to turn to ice, and that's why it looks white. There are 10 engines across the rocket, 9 that power the first stage, and a 10th that powers the second stage. All of these Rutherford engines are 3D printed and feature electrically powered fuel pumps instead of a traditional gas turbine system. Rutherford engines use brushless DC electric motors and lithium polymer batteries that, together, drive the engine's propellant pumps. It's a unique but streamlined way of making an engine run while still allowing the Rutherford to achieve up to 90% efficiency. Now, the rocket's propellant is a mix of liquid oxygen and kerosene used across all 10 engines on both of Electron's stages. On its third stage, there is a singular engine called the Curie. Now, this engine is much, much smaller than the Rutherford and is used to propel the kick stage, or what we call the third stage, or what we call the kick stage, when it's in space to deploy its attached satellites. Now, we're able to start and stop this engine on command when it's in space, which helps to point the kick stage and its payload in exactly the direction it needs to go, whether that is across multiple trajectory changes on a rideshare mission or to a very specific location on orbit that can only be achieved on a dedicated mission.
Stage LD countdown.
LED stage.
Proceed with sequence 56, the stage terminal check sequence.
Copy. Stage terminal checks.
GCLD countdown.
LDGC.
Proceed with sequence 57, the launch pad ready sequence.
Copy. Proceeding with launch pad ready sequence.
All engine blips nominal. All engines are ready. LED stage countdown.
Stage LD.
Stage terminal check sequence complete.
Copy.
To get to the pad today involved a focus campaign of rocket and payload readiness checks, including a rehearsal for launch that is known as a wet dress rehearsal. Now, Electron starts its journey at our integration and control facility and is then transported horizontally from there to the pad, where it is full steam ahead with pad work to help bring that vehicle vertical once it arrives. Now, this launch's mission manager, Jane McNichol, was at the pad earlier today to check in.
Welcome to Launch Complex 2, where just a few hours from now, from right behind me, Electron will lift off and take to Virginia skies for the first time this year. So far, in preparation for liftoff, Electron has traveled the 9-mile journey by road from RocketLab's integration and control facility. From there, our launch technicians installed Electron horizontally onto the strongback you see here behind me. In the coming hours, Electron will be raised vertical ahead of launch at around 2:40 a.m. local time. Once pre-launch checks are complete and all personnel are cleared of the pad, we'll begin fueling Electron with liquid oxygen, and we'll start to see that icy white coating form around Electron's launch tanks in preparation for flight. Now, while Electron and LC2 are the stars of the show today, just over here to my left, something equally exciting is taking shape. Construction is full speed ahead on our pad for Neutron, with concrete foundations for the launch mount board and the water tower construction nearly complete, ready for installation. Standing at just over 86 meters, or around 283 feet, the tower will hold 200,000 gallons of water. As Neutron's Archimedes engines ignite for liftoff, that water will be pumped onto the pad, providing acoustic suppression and heat protection. A similar system is in place to protect Electron's pad, just on a much smaller scale. When you watch liftoff today, keep an eye on the launch mount right about where you see the red handrails are, and you'll see the deluge system initiate in the seconds before launch. The views of Electron lifting off the pad today will no doubt be spectacular. But at twice the height of Electron and capable of carrying 13 tons of payload mass, Neutron will be quite a different scale altogether, and we can't wait to see that sight soon. For now, technicians are continuing to prep Electron for launch, so I'll hand it back to Muriel in Mission Control.
We are now coming up to 5 minutes from liftoff, and it's at the 2-minute mark to launch that Electron's countdown auto sequence will begin. Now, this is when Electron's flight computer takes over the launch countdown from the operators who are running it manually. Just after Electron has switched to that auto sequence, at T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds, we should hear the call that LOX loading is complete on Electron. At 1 minute to liftoff, we can then expect confirmation that the launch vehicle's first and second stages are pressurized for launch. And then it's through to T-minus 10 seconds when our launch director will begin the countdown to liftoff. So with the launch vehicle and the payload healthy and the weather clear, things are looking good for an on-time launch. Coming to you with an update that we have heard on our internal nets that the count has gone into a hold for now. So we'll stand by and wait for updates from Mission Control.
And if you're just joining us, you're looking at a live view of Launch Complex 2 at NASA's Wallops Space Center in Virginia, where the countdown clock held at T-minus 4 minutes, 36 seconds. The teams are working to see what the issue is, and we do have Mission Control still patched in, waiting to hear an update on whether they'll be able to resume after establishing a new T0, or whether this will mean something else, which we're not going to say the S word because we want to see Electron fly today and it be a triple launch day. Lalo, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Thank you so much for that super chat. It was incredibly generous. I want to thank channels like this, NSF Everyday Astronaut, and of course the Launchpad. Thank you all for bringing space to us. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for listening.
Avionics terminal abort sequence complete.
Copy, thank you.
We did just hear a terminal abort sequence is complete, which is what we expected, as they are in the terminal count. If they were to go again, they would have to recycle back, do a new go, no go to enter terminal count. So we would be talking about a little bit of a longer delay here, but we'll wait to hear.
LD stage countdown.
Stage LD.
Stage terminal abort checks are complete.
Copy, thank you, Stage. Can you please confirm your bleed valves are all open?
Confirm bleed valves are open.
Copy, please configure your OFVs for LOX top up.
Copy, they're configured.
That sounded positive, she said, for LOX top up, so we'll wait to hear.
LD on countdown.
LD POS.
Please proceed with the LOX top up, Papa 7600.
Proceeding with Papa 7600. LOX top up.
It sounds like they are going for LOX top up on the vehicle, which means they are holding, and they'll establish if they'll be able to try here again and establish a new T0. So that is a good sign that this is not a full-on out done for today. They are going to see if they can go again. They'll obviously evaluate the data of what ultimately called this hold on the count in their internal systems. They were well into terminal count, T-minus 4 minutes, 36 seconds and holding. As Skylar says,
we have
don't say the S word,
to
let's
share,
listen in.
just to let you know that we have had a hold during today's countdown with the clock sitting at T-minus 4 minutes and 36 seconds. Now, we are listening into Mission Control to understand the driver behind that and see if we can recycle for another attempt. We'll let you know more as we do.
We are waiting for that. The operators did call this hold, so it was a person called hold on the net. Not on the net we ultimately heard, but we will be listening for those updates. They are safing the vehicle, which they have done, and they are now continuing to top up its propellant tanks as the liquid oxygen will be bleeding off as it sits there. So they are keeping Electron ready for flight. If you're just joining us, you're looking at a wide shot of Launch Complex 2 at Wallops, Virginia, where we are in a hold in preparation for the first of 3 launches today. Electron launching a classified mission. We have Soyuz launching crew to the ISS, and SpaceX launching a Falcon 9 with cargo to the ISS, both later today. We hope you'll join us back for those. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage. John Ferris, thank you so much again. More donated memberships and a $10 super chat. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you for your support in what we do. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad, and here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together. And while we are waiting to have more updates from Rocket Lab on what's they are determining as a path forward here tonight, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad, and I'll answer some of those as we await for an update. Also, make sure you join us over on the TLP Discord. That's where our community hangs out in between streams. And head over to the shop. We'd love to see some more of you in some TLP launch gear, so definitely check that out. Our brand new TLP shop just launched a few weeks ago. Global shipping is available, and new stuff is dropping every single week, so make sure to check that out. We also have our applications open, so if you're interested in helping commentate on rocket launches, or maybe you're a rocket chaser stationed near Wallops or Starbase or somewhere else in the world, or maybe you want to help moderate the chat, or you want to be a journalist as part of our news team, consider sending in one of those applications. We believe that space is better together, and we would love to have multiple of you join our crew as we continue to work to inform and inspire that next generation. Mark dropping in the chat there the official statement. Hold. Operators have called a hold on today's countdown for NROL-123, Live and Let Fly. We are awaiting updates, though, from Rocket Lab as they are determining if they can recycle tonight or if we'll have to have a recycle to a different day. Mars 2028, isn't the window closed? I was working to double check that. They did give us the information for today's window. The window opened at 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time and goes till 2:40 a.m. Eastern. So at this point, 2:45 a.m. Eastern Time, which would be in 3 minutes. So yes, unless they were able to get an extended window for some reason, we would be out of time for a launch here. But we'll wait for Rocket Lab to say something. As it is currently 2:43 a.m. Eastern Time, which their window on the press kit at least says 2:45. Now, it's always possible that was updated and modified, but great shout out there, Mars. Thanks for saying that in the chat. We were working to check what that was for.
At T-minus 4 minutes and 36 seconds, the clock remains at a hold just while our mission operations team works through what is the driver behind that. We don't have any new information to share with you, but as soon as we do, we'll bring you another update here and let you know if we can recycle this attempt to try for liftoff today.
Now, with that, we know based on their press kit, their window is closing in 120 seconds. We know that they would have to recycle to at least the T-minus 13, 14, 15 minute mark to do that go, no go into terminal count again. But there are, depending on the vehicle and the payload requirements, it is possible.
LTGC on countdown.
Let's listen in.
Electron is secured on the pad and ECS is enabled.
Copy, thank you. Then GC, please reprime the igniter system, Papa 4200.
Copy, proceeding with Papa 4200.
Now, this is a daily launch window. Today was the first day that this launch window was opened, but backup opportunities are available throughout the duration of March, should they need to update to another day at any time. Again, this is a classified mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. They did have an hour and 15-minute window today. They ended up targeting quite late into that window, but we'll wait to see. The fact that they're holding and are looking to see if they can do more, I take as a good sign that they might be trying to see if they can launch at another point. but we'll keep an eye out there. You can see the frost level on the second stage has changed just a little bit while the vehicle's been sitting out there on the pad. But you can keep sending in your guys' questions in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. We'll work on answering those live. If you haven't yet, take a moment. Also, make sure you engage the like button. It really does help us out. Share out the stream. Invite people to join us. Space Vulture, an hour, 15-minute window is really short. Not as short as an instantaneous launch window, which we do see quite often, especially going to the space station. But we are used to kind of SpaceX windows for Starlink, where for the most part, they might have 14 opportunities over the course of about 7 hours that are pretty much instantaneous windows, but it gives them a variety of launch times should they have to delay for any reason. It is an incredible launch site. I know multiple people have been commenting on the ambiance of Wallops, the red lighting around the pad, but then the white lights specifically on the rocket. It does really make a incredible launch facility, and it is somewhere that you can go see. You can get just a few miles from the pad at Liftoff, but again, if you were wanting to see tonight's flight, if we were to get to the point of liftoff here this evening, and we are continuing to listen in for an update if that will be possible. There is the visibility map on your screen. If you are anywhere from Pittsburgh to Charleston to Raleigh to Charlottesville to Washington, D.C., Baltimore, anywhere in between there in Philadelphia, if you're... we've had a reset on the clock. That is a T-minus 5 hours, 33 minutes, 52 seconds and counting. We will wait for an update, but that may be our updated T0, which, if that is the fact, I guarantee you Rocket Lab will not be staying live, but we'll wait for confirmation. That is quite a long update. We're expecting to have that update verbally here in the near future as they wait to confirm a new T0 for tonight's flight. We do hope that you'll join us back here as we continue to count down to the next flights that will be taking place here today. We have Soyuz launching in 6.5 hours, carrying 2 Russian cosmonauts and 1 American astronaut to the International Space Station. And then counting down T-minus 14 hours, 7 minutes to the launch of SpaceX Cargo Dragon on a really historic flight for SpaceX. It is the first Cargo Dragon flight from the upgraded Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral with the new crew access tower. This is a certification flight in many ways, and the next time we see Dragon fly with people, it may be from Slick 40, but they want to do a Dragon flight for cargo first, just to finalize proof on the pad. The fact that T0 is off the screen, I expect we will have an update here in the near future that yes, indeed, we are having a delay, a very long delay for tonight's mission, but we are awaiting confirmation of that new T0. We will, of course, be back here live to bring you full launch coverage of Live and Let Fly, NROL 123. I don't know how I forgot that. NROL-123 as we get more updates. This is the 46th Electron mission to take place. And we're waiting for an update here from Rocket Lab Mission Control. And for those that are observant, the T0 clock is back. They are back now holding at T-minus 12 minutes and counting. So we might not be done just yet. They may have secured a new window. We'll wait for that update from Rocket Lab. We don't want to speculate, but the fact that the clock was fully removed and has returned is hopefully good signs that we may see a launch opportunity happen here this evening. Also, the fact that they have not ended the stream or begun detanking, another good sign. It is not counting just yet, which means we are in a hold. And what they'll do is they'll hold at this point until they're ready to resume the clock. And when they do so, that'll immediately go into that go, no go for terminal count. because that goes into effect at the T-minus 10-minute mark. So they normally do that poll starting at T-minus 12 minutes. That is a normal timeline for Electron. So we're waiting to have confirmation, but it is a very dynamic morning down at Wallops as we wait for an update on the status of tonight's flight. The initial launch window is now closed, but maybe that teams were able to secure a new launch window. It all depends where the NRO want this payload to go. That is one of the biggest things that will determine a launch window, is that Electron can deliver it exactly where they need it. You guys can keep sending in those questions in the chat. We'll work on answering those. Sly, it's like a roller coaster ride. That it is. It's going to be a roller coaster of a morning. We have a launch, and then we all get to go sleep for a couple of hours, and then we're back to watch a Soyuz. We all get to sleep for a few more hours, and then we're back for a third flight to watch SpaceX Cargo Dragon launch from the new pad down, well, not new pad, the upgraded pad down at Cape Canaveral. We'll, of course, be bringing you full commentary coverage on all three of those. If you do happen to be watching the replay, let us know in the chat. Eric Scott, what time is Soyuz? Soyuz is targeting liftoff T-minus 6 hours, 29 minutes from now. They are targeting 1:21 UTC, 4:21 local time. Which, doing the conversion to North America, is they are targeting a liftoff of 9:21 a.m. Eastern. Let's listen in.
Just tuning in now, I just want to let you know that we are in a hold on the pad at LC2 for the NROL-123 Live and Let Fly mission for the NRO. Now, happily, we do have some time up our sleeve in this window all the way up until 03:25 Eastern. So we may recycle and start the count back up again soon. If we do need to stand down today, though, we do have plenty of backup opportunities in the coming days. For now, though, let's keep up those loops up and listen in for updates from Mission Control.
So you heard there, they have time up until 3:25 Eastern time, which is 33 minutes from now. With that, given the fact that they need to recycle to about T-minus 12, 13, 14, means we have about 12...
Tank swap is complete, ready to get back into stage 1, stage 2 liquid oxygen top up.
Copy, I'm happy for you to coordinate with stage.
Copy.
So they are getting ready to begin reloading propellant, topping up propellant on Electron, as they continue to have the vehicle in a go state for another launch opportunity. Given the amount of time we have left in the window, we have 20 minutes for them to lock down a T0. If they were not able to lock down that T0, then we will unfortunately be at the point where they will have to try another day. But we'll be waiting to see if that happens as they continue to navigate the timeline here. We're working to just get a countdown clock up on your guys' screen for that time of the cutoff of the launch window. We'll keep working on answering your guys' comments and questions by tagging us at... you can send those to us by tagging us in the chat. It is very early in the morning, the start of a long day, but we're glad to have you here with us. And we're going to bring up on the screen here. That is a countdown to the end of the launch window for today. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that and the number on the top left corner of your screen. If the top left corner of your screen becomes greater than what's on the right, there is no chance of flying here today. But we will keep an eye on that as we are now 30 minutes away from the closure of their window, which means they did have an updated window. Chris Nett, I like your channel because you cover many different launch pads. Thank you for your work. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. We appreciate your support. Kelly, 805 people waiting for the launch. We are all up very late if you're in North America, or bright and early over in Europe. And we're excited to hopefully see a launch here today. This is a classified mission, so we're not too sure what views we'll be able to have see. I don't know if Rocket Lab is watching our stream or was just inspired, but they put a countdown clock also to the end of the window. So we'll wait and see if we have another update here momentarily. Rocket Lab, if you're watching, hello, we love y'all. Let's see a rocket fly tonight, if it's safe to do so. But they are continuing to load the vehicle in preparation for another count opportunity. Eric Scott, sitting in a shipping dock. I have nothing better to do. Great to have you here, Eric. As we wait for another update from Rocket Lab, stay with us as we count down to hopefully see Electron fly. Stay with us right here on the launch pad.
Into all operators, LDN countdown. Just to provide a quick brief. So we're currently still troubleshooting the issue. We have set the new T0 time to the end of the window. That's in UTC time 072500. We're trying to make a decision before the T-minus 12-minute call.
And if you're just joining us, we just heard that update come across the nets. They have updated the T0, and we'll get rid of our clock as we'll use theirs, as they are going to pull a SpaceX, and they are going to run the clock and see if they have an opportunity to launch here this morning. The launch window closes 27 minutes, 20 seconds from now. Teams are continuing to work whatever issue they are working, but they are going to fuel and pressurize and be ready to go if they can. Now, they're going to run the clock all the way to that T-minus 12, 13 minute mark where they have to do that final go, no go. And at that point is when they will determine either to enter the terminal count or call it for this morning. If they do have to do though, they will be back here tomorrow for another launch attempt. I believe this is something to do with the vehicle. If it was a weather parameter, I feel like they would have said weather. We did hear the NASA weather person give a go during the last terminal count, and we have heard many times if weather was a watch item that they would give a come back to me, and they would come back to the weather chief, in the last minute or two of the count for a final go no go for that exact T0. So we'll wait to see if it's weather or vehicle and if we get an update, but they are running the clock. T-minus 26 minutes, 17 seconds and counting till launch. Stay with us right here on the launch pad.
the issue we encountered. There are currently no blockers. We are proceeding with our new T0 time of 072500 UTC time. So please be prepared for the T-minus 12-minute go-no-go poll.
Good news there from Mission Control. We have had an update that our operators have cleared the path to launch, and we have a new T0 target of 0725 UTC. So we'll be working through that all the way up to the go, no-go poll at T-minus 12 minutes. We'll come back to you with an update to listen into that then. final few minutes in the new countdown, let's dig into some of the numbers by this mission. So today's launch will be our 46th launch since Electron's very first liftoff in 2017. It will be our fourth launch of 2024 and also coincidentally our fourth launch from LC2. It is our fifth mission for the NRO, with 4 previous missions launching from LC1 in New Zealand. And to date, Electron has launched 178 satellites, and we look forward to adding to that total today in about 17 minutes from now.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are at T-minus 13 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. Waiting for Rocket Lab to begin another terminal count go no go poll as they attempt to launch Electron here in their updated window. That T0 on your clock is to the end of the launch window, but also the targeted T0. They're trying to thread the needle and get off the ground. We did hear an update that they have resolved and cleared the path to flight, so they are going for another launch attempt here and are working no issues at this time. And we're standing by to await that go no go, expecting to begin that poll to begin here in the next 60 seconds as they prepare to enter terminal count at T-minus 10 or 11 minutes. You guys can continue sending in your questions in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. We'll answer those as we continue through terminal count. Also, make sure to share out the stream. Invite people to come on back and join us if they're still up, as we are going for another launch attempt of Electron here this morning. We're going to listen in to Rocket Lab Mission Control Nets as we await the beginning of that go-no-go update. Stay with us right here on the launch pad as we count down to the 46th Electron flight, Live and Let Fly, a classified mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. Stay with us.
We are proceeding now with the final poll for launch, the go-no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC's go.
Recon.
Beacons go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
Mars CE.
RCE is go.
Mars Up.
Mars Ops is go.
Mars 1.
Mars 1 is go.
NASA GSO.
Go.
NASA AERSO.
NASA RSO is go.
NASA PM.
NASA PM is go.
Payload MD.
Payload MD is go.
LSO.
LSO is go.
LD Sub.
LD SEP is go.
NASA TG.
Please go.
And that concludes the go-no-go sequence. We're currently T-minus 11 minutes and 8 seconds and counting. We are go for the terminal count at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word hold procedure is in effect.
And that is the poll from Mission Control that confirms we are now going forward with today's liftoff attempt at 03:25 Eastern, right at the end of today's launch window in just over 10 minutes and 40 seconds from now.
They'll go.
To all on countdown. Stage 1 igniter pressure is verified. Hydraulic pressure is verified. LD GC on countdown.
GCLD.
The pad terminal checks are complete.
Copy. Avionics LD countdown.
LD Avionics.
Please proceed to sequence 55, the avionics terminal check sequence.
Copy. Commencing sequence 55. S-band is switched to high power for flight. Stage 1 and Stage 2, high voltage batteries, ready for flight.
Stage LD countdown.
LD stage.
Proceed to sequence 56, the stage terminal check sequence.
Copy sequence 56.
proceed with sequence 57, the launch pad ready sequence.
Copy, proceeding with launch pad ready sequence.
T-minus 7 minutes and 41 seconds and counting, and the team and the rocket are both tracking well. Now, I just wanted to give you a bit of an update that we are expecting some potential video dropouts during today's launch. So if that does occur, we'll switch views to mission control and continue listening into the team on console for updates.
Copy.
We are now under 5 minutes away from liftoff, and just a reminder of the final processes as we get towards T0. Electron's auto sequence will start at around the 2-minute mark to launch, which will take over the launch countdown from the operators who are running it themselves from mission control. Now, after that, once Electron has switched to that auto sequence, we should hear the call that LOX has finished loading on Electron at around T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now, 30 seconds later, at T-minus 1 minute to liftoff, we should hear confirmation that the first and second stages of the rocket are at their full pressure for liftoff. And then we get through to T-minus 10 seconds when our launch director will count down all the way to T0. So with the launch vehicle and the payload both looking good and the range being clear, we should be on time for that 03:25 Eastern Time liftoff target. We'll hand over now to Mission Control and wait for those next few calls coming in at around T-minus 2 minutes.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are counting down T-minus 3 minutes, 49 seconds and counting till launch. We're listening into the mission control nets, but just a last minute reminder, if you happen to be on the eastern seaboard tonight, now's the time to head on outside. You may be able to see Electron fly this evening, depending on your visibility and cloud conditions, anywhere from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Charlottesville, Richmond, Raleigh, down to Charleston. Will have an opportunity to fly, ranging from right at liftoff all the way to 3 minutes into flight.
Sequences are. The pad is ready for launch.
A great call out there that the pad is ready for launch. We're going to listen into Rocket Lab Mission Control for the final 3 minutes, 10 seconds of the count. But as always here at the launch pad, we want to see that go, no go from you guys in the chat. If you're a TLP member, you get access to those custom TLP launch emotes, so make sure you use those. And if you're interested in getting access to those, consider hitting the join button. That all goes back into supporting what we do and bringing you the best possible coverage of everything space. T-minus 2 minutes, 50 seconds and counting. Let's listen into Rocket Lab Mission Control as we count down to the 46th Electron flight, Live and Let Fly, carrying NROL-123, a classified mission for the National Reconnaissance Office.
Vehicle is on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
Anti-gauging has been disabled. Lock system is in recirculation.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks press for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Beginning pitch level. Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
Our 46th Electron is in the air and on its way to orbit after liftoff from Launch Complex 2. Electron's Rutherford engines are burning hot as the launch vehicle accelerates towards max Q, that moment when the density of the air around the rocket and its acceleration through that air creates the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the launch vehicle will experience. The call from Mission Control that we've passed through that point will be coming up shortly.
Vehicle is supersonic. Approaching max Q. Failed max Q.
With Electron clear through max Q, all is
discharge
looking
tunnel.
nominal at now 1 minute and 26 minutes into flight. So the rocket is now over 20 kilometers in altitude and moving at over 2,800 kilometers an hour. Up next will be 3 launch milestones that happen at roughly the same time. To separate the first stage of the rocket from its second, we need to throttle down and shut off the booster's 9 Rutherford engines. This is called MECO, or main engine cutoff. Next is stage separation, when those 2 sections will disconnect, and then it will be second stage engine ignition for the 10th Rutherford engine on Electron. Those 3 events are coming up shortly, so let's bring up the audio channels from Mission Control to listen in.
15 seconds to staging.
Entered burnout detect mode. MECO confirmed. Stage separation successful. Stage 2 ignition.
That is MECO, stage separation and Rutherford engine start on the second stage, all confirmed across the nets. Live and Let Fly is living up to its name as the mission continues nominally on its way to its target orbit. Up next will be fairing jettison, when Electron's nose cone splits and falls away to expose the NRO's payload in preparation for deployment.
Phenomena.
High voltage battery discharge is nominal.
Fairing separation successful.
And that is fairing jettison confirmed, as all continues nominally for Electron. We are now T plus 4 minutes and 19 seconds since Electron's launch off the pad at Launch Complex 2 in Virginia. Now, as we wait for our next set of mission milestones, we can see that Electron is progressing smoothly through flight. The Rutherford engine on the second stage will continue to burn through that propellant and empty those tanks as we approach engine cutoff for the second stage in just a few minutes. Now, that second stage engine is mostly identical to the engines on stage 1. It contains all of the same 3D printed parts and machinery as a stage 1 engine, but has a larger extension nozzle that is ideal for the vacuum conditions of space, and the engine has the ability to hot swap its batteries. Because the batteries for this engine have been working harder and for longer, they need to be swapped out for the mission to continue. And that is an action unique to Electron, which will be coming up in just a few minutes. Coming up now on battery hot swap for the second stage engine. So those batteries are close to terminal now as the mission is continuing. So Electron's engine power system will swap over to a new set to keep it running. This hot swap maneuver will allow continuous energy supply to the Rutherford engine's turbopumps, which delivers fuel into the engine's combustion chamber at extremely high pressure. The old set of batteries will be jettisoned, which we might see on our screen when that happens. So let's watch and listen out for the call from Mission Control.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Hot swap successful.
There they went. You saw it there. A clean battery hot swap for the second stage Rutherford engine. Propulsion looks nominal. Our orbital trajectory is on track, and we are now just a few minutes away from the second stage's final milestones.
Stage 2 propulsion still holding nominal.
T plus 7 minutes, 21 seconds and counting, and the second stage is performing well on this leg of the journey. The burn of this engine should take the kick stage with its NRO payload all the way to the highest point of this mission's trajectory and reach speeds of up to 28,000 kilometers an hour ahead of payload deployment. We are now, though, under 2 minutes to the cutoff of this engine, and we should start hearing more status calls from our mission control operators shortly.
High voltage battery discharge, holding nominal.
Soon we'll be repeating the process of the stage separation that we completed earlier in the mission for the stage 2 you see on your screen from its kick stage with the NRO payload. Now this includes second engine cutoff, or SECO, of that stage 2 engine, followed by separation between stages 2 and 3. Now once that third stage, the kick stage, separates, it will go into a phasing orbit of Earth ahead of payload deployment. We'll listen in for those events now.
Francis Antomina.
SECO confirm.
Good, transfer orbit.
Great news from Mission Control. With that second stage engine cold and the kick stage separated, Live and Let Fly's payload is now further on its journey to orbit. The kick stage has been released at the apogee of this mission's target orbit, otherwise known as its highest point, but not yet on a circular path. It will now complete an elliptical orbit around Earth before the dots reconnect at the apogee. Now when it does, the kick stage's engine will light up for the first of its multiple burns to set the mission on a circular orbit. Next after that will be payload deployment and the release of the payload. Now at the request of the NRO, we won't be live with those kick stage actions or payload deployment calls, but we will bring you updates across our social media channels. Payload deployment will mark the end of the mission for Rocket Lab, but the beginning of those 3 research missions on orbit for the NRO.
And if you're just joining us, you're looking at a simulated view of what's going to take place over the next 50 minutes as Electron takes its payloads to its final destination. But that is going to do it for here tonight for our live launch coverage of Electron's 46th flight, NROL-123 Live and Let Fly. Thank you so much for joining us. That is a live view of Launch Complex 2 at Wallops, Virginia, where Rocket Lab successfully launched Electron 11 minutes ago. Now, that's not all for today. This was the first of 3 launches, and we hope you will join us back here in 5 hours and 44 minutes and 42 seconds. Roscosmos will be launching a Soyuz rocket carrying 2 Russian cosmonauts and an American astronaut to the International Space Station. We will be live for that beginning at approximately 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific. So we hope you'll join us back here for that in about 5 hours from now. We might go live a little bit sooner, so make sure you keep those notifications turned on. And then when the third launch is 13 hours, 18 minutes from now, with the first ever Cargo Dragon V2 launch from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral with its new crew access tower. I want to give a huge shout out to all of those who super chatted and gifted memberships: Supax, John Fairs, Paul. Thank you so much to everyone. If I'm missing anyone who donated today, all of that goes back into supporting what we do to bring you the best possible coverage, working around the clock 24/7, 365 to bring you the best coverage of everything space. If you haven't yet, make sure you join us on our TLP Discord to hang out in between streams and get to hang out with one of the best space communities on the web, and head on over to the shop and get some of our TLP launch gear so you too can wear some launch gear on the next time. I'm going to head to sleep. I hope you do the same, and we will be back here in just a few hours to see 3 people fly back to space to the International Space Station. We'll see you then, or if not, we'll see you next time, because space is better together. Good night.